aggressive move to the rack. And where's the help defensively?
To me, Greg, that's a complete lack of communication on that side of the ball. These guys need to be talking to each other.
Curry can't get it to go.
Well, this has not been a quarter to remember for this guy. He looks completely flustered.
Bill, you wear so many hats, writing, producing, performing. You're running the Ringer, which is highly successful. What role satisfies you the most?
I would say working with young people and trying to help them get better. I think that's the coolest thing you can do, especially if you feel like you've done some good stuff and accomplished some things and realized some dreams. Like, the next thing to do is just to, can you help other people get to where they should go?
Well, a lot of this wasn't around when you and I were growing up. So
No.
what were your dreams?
Even if you write a sports column that people read, that's what I wanted forever. Yeah. And then the most satisfying thing is just not knowing what's next, but taking chances and hoping things are going to be fun and work out. You have to have a good team around you, and you have to have like 6 or 7 awesome people that you completely trust who can help you do. It's possible to do everything yourself, especially if you're trying to increase the scale of what you're doing. And I think that even works for an NBA organization. You know, it's not like one person running everything. I would say putting a good team around you is the most important thing.
Trying to snap them out of this little slump.
Just feels like the basket is looking awfully small to them right now. They're having a hard time getting anything to fall.
Jeff Teague, he's checked in for the Hawks. Now here's Thompson. 5 points in the game. Chris kicks to Curry. 4 on the clock. Fires for 3. Hits it from 3-point range. Curry's got his second bucket tonight. Bill, if you're building a franchise from scratch, which one current player would you begin with or build around?
Probably Giannis, because he's
Still
turning
young
25 this year. I still feel like the ceiling of what he's going to do is go up as he becomes more of a shot maker. He's really durable, which I think is underrated. Like, he's just built to play basketball. There's certain guys like that. I think Kevin Garnett was like that. Tim Duncan was like that. Just guys who you just know are going to be around for 17, 18 years. The way I like to watch the running styles, and the game just comes so easy to him. He's so athletic and really cares and is really competitive and just wants to do this and win at basketball. That's what I think.
And too much time in the lane. They get called for the 3-second violation. And so it's Carter who brings the ball up for the Atlanta Hawks. A tough loss coming against New York in their last game played. Here's Reddish. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
That is not an easy finish. Had to get that one up and over some very tight defense. Good, strong move.
Back to Chris. Some nice passing by Golden State. Nice shot by Thompson.
But who is her?
Hawks have gone 6 of 10 from
I'm gonna check your page out.
And breathe the pass to Carter.
Oh shit. Oh.
There's 47 seconds left to play in the first. Teague. That's tipped.
Oh, the freak athleticism. Chris with the tools to be an elite
rim
rim protector.
Let's go.
They're getting a lot of their points outside the paint. 3 of their last 5 baskets are from 3-point range.
So it's the Hawks now. After the 3-pointer from Klay Thompson. There's 25 seconds left here in the first quarter. The pass to Bembry. Shot clock at 6.
He missed that. Yeah, this
Tried to come right back with the 3 of his own. It's no good. Here's Thompson.
Green.
It's Dedmon with the rebound.
I'm sure he's kicking himself. He hates to blow that kind of opportunity.
And the foul is called. He intentionally grabbed him there for some reason. I don't know.
Kevin, all I can think of is that he's trying to slow the game down a little bit.
Right.
That's a stretch, though. Definitely a strange move on his part.
Here's Teague. And no good on the last second attempt this time. Klay Thompson has been leading the charge for the Golden State Warriors. He got to double digits for the quarter with 10 points total. We'll return shortly. One of the most demonstrative players in the game, Draymond Green, speaks.
That's all defense is. It is effort.
And he should know, a former Defensive Player of the Year.
You know, he just takes pride in being their anchor defensively. And if he's not seeing that effort, he's going to let you know about it.
D up. Oh,
And
shit.
close game underway so far. We'll see if either of these teams can jump out in the second quarter. And taking a look at the Warriors' performance here, guys. What are your thoughts?
I love
Green light.
their effort
Green.
contesting shots,
Oh,
trying
y'all need
to
to get Curry back in the
intimidate
game.
here early on.
Well, as a shooter, when the ball is sent back in your direction enough times, it can certainly have an impact on your mind.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor. All fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. And so in the game for the Hawks, Teague out there with Reddish. Then there's Carter. Then it's Dwayne Dedmon. And it's Fernando in at the 4 slot. Timeout called the Warriors. On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Kevin, when Trae Young was in college, he was known for his long-range shooting. But Young says, the people who know me best know that I'd rather get an assist than any other stat. I pride myself on making the right play. Knowing your teammates get joy and excitement from playing with you is all I care about.
I'm not even trying.
That's great to see. Thank you, D.A. Here's Fernando. Passes it to Carter. Here's Teague.
Trash
One
jumper. I
falls
don't know
coming
how he
off
made
Carter's
that.
feet. Teague's got the first points up on the board here in the second quarter for Atlanta. Bill, do you ever think we're going to eliminate conferences in the,
Pass the ball, my guy.
NBA playoff seeding?
I think that they would have done a 16 seed no conference playoff format years ago. I think they're really worried about the travel though. And they've looked at it and they've really studied it and they've looked at the effects of, let's say Boston plays Portland in round one and you're flying 3,100 miles or 3,200 miles in 3 time zones and all that stuff. And it's a 2-2-1-1-1 series.
Step up. Green.
What is the effect on the team if it goes 7? I think they're really afraid of it. I wish they
Where you
did
going?
it. I don't
Out of
play the
bounds. Let's go.
conferences. I don't really understand them. And over the
no.
course of
You ain't going
NBA history,
nowhere.
they've been really confused by the conferences. I wrote about this in the book of basketball, where we had years where San Antonio was playing in the East for a while.
Green light.
and
I'm not stopping before I
Baltimore
hit
was in
those.
the West. Which, go look at a map. Baltimore being in the West is ridiculous.
Hit those.
Baltimore was in the West and Philly was in the East, and they're like 50 miles away from
Corey,
each other.
Corey.
Yeah, made no
So
sense.
they've never really 100% figured out the conferences.
Come on.
And I just think the
Oh,
1 through
shoot.
16 makes more sense.
It would sure be better basketball.
I ain't want to foul him.
Well, that's not the guy you want guarding him at the rim. Just too much of a differential in terms
I ain't
of
want to
size.
foul him.
Timeout called the Warriors. Bill, you host your own podcast. I've listened to it. I subscribe to it.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
I need to get my man
What do you
Curry
make
back
of so
in
many
the game.
NBA players now doing the same thing?
Hey, we have a couple of them. We at the Ringer we have JJ Redick. we have
Hey,
Vince Carter,
the 2
and Ken
streamers that's
Bazemore.
on my live, watch this
The
green
ones
light.
that are good at
Watch
it
this.
take it seriously. It can't be one of those things where, you know, a player says, you know what, I want a podcast, and
Huh.
then it just naturally
Hold on, hold on.
happens, and you
Huh,
gotta work
that's
on
right.
it.
Run
You
that back,
have to
$2 for
use
the
your
dollar,
connections
$2 for
and
the dollar.
book your guests,
$2
and
for
you
the
have to
dollar,
be
$2 for the
candid
dollar.
on the podcast. You can't just show up and
$2 for a
just
dollar.
babble. And the guys that have been successful at it are people that could probably
Get out of my
have a
face.
media career. So
Green.
JJ's
Told
clearly
you.
been in media for
I'm
a
a
long
green it every time.
Richard Jefferson had a great podcast. He's gone in the media. He's really good. So I think you need a little more talent at it than people realize. And you need the consistency of it. You can't say, I'm starting a podcast and then not do it for 2 months. Like, you have to really stick to it.
And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here.
Got to be careful in how you're going to guard Young. He often seeks out contact and really forces the issue.
So it's both teams making substitutions here. And so Young nails them both.
Oh, yeah, this tied up.
And so here is Golden State. On the wing, Thompson. Pass to Looney. Some nice passing by Golden State here. Here's Curry with the 3. He gets that one to drop. He's now 5 of 12. Seen a handful of players land the Supermax contract bill. By and large, how do you see those deals working?
It's tough. Nobody's really been happy with it yet. You know, it's so much money and it's such a big part of somebody's salary cap. and you're just kind of handicapped with it. And we've seen John Wall is the worst case scenario, but the situation Charlotte and Kemba Walker, where he makes the All-NBA team, and now his supermax is $240 million instead of $28. Like, that's crazy. And in a salary cap league, to pay $50 million a year for somebody, it's nuts. It compromises the ceiling of the team. So the Bucks are going to be in this position with Giannis, where he's making $55 million a year and the cap's $120. How are you going to put a good team around?
You can't maneuver.
You can't. No. So I would put a wrinkle in there that I would make the supermax, whatever, pay the player whatever the number is, but it only counts for like $32 million. Yeah, make it.
Bro, I know y'all just saw that man. I know y'all just saw that man.
Even if you're paying him 55, and then that way people can compete better.
And here's Young after the three-pointer from Stephen Curry. Young, and it's in after a nice bounce off the right side. Young's got 8 points in the quarter.
And a depth
Klay Thompson need to get on hot too.
Well, all Young needs is a little breathing
Curry,
room, and he set the fire.
This man is hot.
Curry deciding where to go with it. Here's Pascal.
Green.
Another three for Golden State.
Green with a trash base.
How about 1-5 from long range?
And Atlanta calls their first time out of the game. Curry with a strong contribution so far in this one.
Yeah, I think they've got to be talking about just guarding him a little more tightly on the perimeter or keep the ball out of his hands as much as possible, period. That's about the only way you're going to cool this guy off.
And the Hawks making a change here. Bembry's checked in.
And let's take a look now at some stats for Stephen Curry. His last 10 games have been exceptional, averaging about 23 points per, 7 assists and 6 rebounds. And what is crazy is that these numbers might not even do his game justice.
I'm gonna agree with Curry.
Feels like every night this guy does something that just blows your mind. So fun to watch. Someone the other players look up to.
Well, Bill, I know you got to run. Marvelous to have you in the program. Wish we could do it more often.
Let's do it right now. I don't have to run. Can I stay?
Yes, you can always stay.
I don't want to leave.
You have a free ticket here anytime you want.
I want to stay, please.
The microphone's always open. Well, Doris, you read most reporters. They try to stay impartial. But not Bill Simmons.
I think that's what makes him special, Kevin, right? He has his own lens through which he sees things, and he is unafraid to give you his opinion.
Now Young. After the missed three from Klay Thompson. Capella finds Young. Now Hunter. Guarded by Green. Just 5 on the clock. They get it back and finished off by Collins.
Good to see a player going all out when the game's this tight.
You know, G.A., he knows what his job is. Control the offensive glass.
And that's so demoralizing to your opponent. To play great
Green.
defense and have the possession end that way, that's tough to take.
That's a dozen straight points coming off the triple.
The Hawks trail by 5. Shot and game clock separated by 5. Now, here's Hunter. Covered by Wiggins. Collins kicks to Young. Pass to Hunter. Here's Bembry. Yep, that one goes in there.
Well, use the pick and going right to the cup. I love the aggressiveness.
Curry fires from way outside. No good on the quick three.
And he's a good shooter from outside, but not sure from that deep.
Boy, we're seeing it more and more. Guys looking to create additional space by stepping back.
All right, David, thank you. And stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime to get the...
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And we hope you enjoyed the competitive. Golden State found themselves in a close game in the first. They were able to squeeze ahead by the end of the period with just a 1-point lead. That's all for now.
We've got second half action for you, and if the next couple of quarters are similar to the first, this one could go down to the last possession. It's been one outstanding game from Trae Young.
You just love the patience in that first half. Waited until he got the look he wanted.
You know, as a coach, you can preach good shot selection, but it's up to the players to execute, and this guy has done just that.
Doris, who are some of your favorite players to interact with, interview, and question as you go through the season?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys. I think, you know, certain people really give a lot of thought to their answers. So a Kyrie Irving, he wants to explain what he's thinking. He's willing to share and take a moment and consider the question. Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, all of these guys, when I ask a question, they'll pause for a moment, consider the question, and then respond. For somebody who's got to interview, there's nothing greater than having those guys willing to take some time with me.
Well, Doris, and you always get great answers from them too, so there's a great rapport there, I can see. Curry and Clay, the Splash Brothers, in the backcourt. Andrew Wiggins is out there with Draymond Green, and it's Chris in at the 5 spot. That's Steve Kerr's 5 as we get into the second half. And we've got an update here, so let's check in with David Aldridge reporting from the sideline.
Well, Kevin, tampering is a touchy subject, but it's a word we're hearing more often. Teams want to retain their star players, but they know that there's always talk during a season. Now, teams can only express interest in a player when he hits free agency. Players can talk amongst each other freely all season. Star players like LeBron James are tied into their front offices. Some people wonder if there's much of a difference between what the player says and what his team is thinking. Kevin?
Good point, David. Thank you.
Boy, everyone is getting to their spots and then capitalizing. 3 for 4 in the quarter. Beautiful.
Thompson for
It's
3.
a beautiful game.
That falls. Nice feed that time from Wiggins. 19 points for Klay Thompson.
And that's another 3. And if the defense is hoping that they don't heat up from out there like they did in the first half, they may be in for a real bad surprise.
Young outside. Score the basket for his 10th make. 10 for 12. 83% accuracy.
And defensively, guys, they've been unable to shut down the middle.
Thompson with the bucket.
Well, Klay Thompson's simply one of the best to do it in the NBA right now when it's a catch-and-shoot situation.
Time call here. The Hawks decide to talk it over.
For viewers, timeout's a chance to check your phone, grab a drink, but for the teams, it's all about business.
Well, there's something that the coach doesn't like. I'm curious to see which kind of adjustment he makes here.
Curry's checked in for Golden State. The Atlanta making some changes. We get a break in the action, so let's take a look at the West and how the teams are stacking up. We'll take a look at the Warriors. It's been a rough season for them. The good news is the lottery is only a couple months away.
And for the Warriors, they've had such a disappointing season. Even when they've gotten a little bit of momentum, they haven't been able to keep it going.
It just feels like they're sputtering right now. Every time you think they've turned the corner, they really haven't.
5 to shoot. Pulls up on the wing. No good that time. And Golden State will come the other way. Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. Thompson in the corner. Jacks up a 3. And it's Thompson again missing.
Not quite enough defense that time around, just lucky.
And the last 2 drafts, the Atlanta Hawks aggressively making trades to assemble this roster.
And drafting DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, great length and versatility on the wings. You pair that with